Hello everyone, welcome to part 1 of lecture 5, and in this lecture we shall be exploring input and output components in a computer system. The learning outcome of this lecture is 1. Define input, 2. Describe keyboard entry including the different types of keyboards and keyboard features, discuss pointing devices including mice, touchscreens, joysticks, and styluses. 4. Describe scanning devices, including optical scanners and card readers. And 5. Discuss image capturing devices, including digital cameras and digital video cameras. Moreover, we should also be defining output and discussing monitor features, flat panel, CRT, ebook readers, data projectors, and HDTVs. We'll also define printing features such as inkjet, laser, dot matrix, thermal, plotter, photo, and portable printers. We will also go around this looking at audio output devices and combination of input and output devices. Introduction. Have you ever wondered how information gets into your computer or comes out in a form that you can use? Normally, it comes through input and output devices. Input devices convert what we understand into what the system unit can process. Output devices convert what the system unit has processed into a form that we can understand. What is input? Any data or instruction used by a computer. Input devices translate data into a form that system unit can process. Some hardware input devices include keyboards, pointing devices, scanning devices, other devices. Input devices are hardware used to translate words, sounds, images, and actions that people understand into a form that computers can understand. Input allows a user to put their information into computer language, and the common input devices are keyboards, mouse, light pens, voice input devices, etc. Keyboard entry. Keyboard comes in various designs, range from full size to miniature, from rigid to flexible. Common types: traditional, full-sized, rigid, rectangular keyboards that include function, navigational, and numeric keys. Virtual keyboard, keyboard for a tablet PC shown on a touch screen. Ergonomics keyboard, similar to traditional. Keyboard arrangement is not rectangular and a palm rest is provided. Wireless transmit input to the system unit through the air, and PDA, miniature keyboards. Features of keyboards include typewriter keyboard with numeric keypad, special purpose key, toggle, and combination keys. Some common features: numeric keypad used to enter numbers and arithmetic symbols. Function keys provide shortcuts to specific tasks. Escape key cancels a selection or a procedure. Windows key displays the start menu. Spacebar enters blank spaces between characters. Navigation keys controls the cursor or insertion point on the screen. Pointing devices. Pointing devices provide a comfortable interface that creates machine-readable data that can go directly to the system processing unit or the central processing unit. Pointing devices include mouse, joystick, touchscreens, light pen, and styluses. A mouse incorporates a mouse pointer that usually appears in the shape of an arrow. Some mice are also equipped with a wheel button that can be rotated to scroll through information. The different types of mouse include mechanical mouse, traditional type, left and right button, and a mouse ball, most widely used, and incorporates a mouse pad for use. Optical mouse has no moving parts, emits and senses light to detect mouse movement, can be used on any surface. Cordless mouse or wireless mouse, they are battery powered and uses radio waves or infrared light waves. Trackball, also referred to as a roller ball, controls the pointer by rotating a ball with your thumb. Touch surfaces, also referred to as touchpads, controls the pointer by moving and tapping your fingers on the surface of a pad. Pointing stick, located in the middle of a keyboard, controls the pointer by directing the stick with your finger. Joystick is also a type of an input device, basically input for computer games. Touchscreen, a kind of monitor with a clear plastic outer layer. It is easy to use and commonly used at restaurants, ATMs, and information centers. Styluses use pressure to draw images on a screen, interacts with a computer through hand recognition software. Scanning devices. Scanners move across text and images. Scanning devices convert scanned data into a form that system unit can process. The types of scanners include optical, known as a scanner, recognizes light, dark, and colored areas that make up individual characters or images. Flatbed, much like a copy machine. Portable, typically a handheld device that slides across the image, making direct contact. Document scanners, similar to flatbed, except that it can quickly scan multiple documents, automatically feeds one page of a document at a time. Card readers, they interpret encoded information that is stored on debit, credit, and identification cards. Different types of card readers include magnetic card reader. Information is stored on a thin magnetic strip on the back of the cards, is read when swiped through a card reader. A very good example is Visa, debit, or credit cards. Radio frequency card reader, not as common, but more convenient. Card has an RFID. RFID stands for radio frequency identification. The RFID chip that is read when passed within a few inches of a card reader. Barcode readers on barcode scanners. You see these devices at the grocery store. Handheld one, reader, or platform scanner. It reads barcodes or vertical zebra stripe marks printed on the product's container. Products have a UPC. UPC stands for Universal Product Code. Character and mark recognition devices are scanners that recognize special characters and marks. The first one is MICR, magnetic ink character recognition, used by banks to read magnetically encoded characters. Numbers are read by a reader or sorter. Optical character recognition, or OCR, specially pre-printed characters are read by OCR devices such as wand scanners. Optical mark recognition, OMR, they may also be called as mark sensing. Devices sense the presence or absence of marks, common for test scoring. Image capturing devices. Imaging capturing devices create or capture original images. Some devices may include digital cameras. Similar to traditional cameras, except images are recorded digitally on disk or a camera's memory. Digital video cameras records motion digitally on a disk or camera's memory. Can take still photos as well. Webcams, also referred to as web cameras, are specialized digital video cameras that capture images and sends them to a computer to broadcast over the internet. Instant messaging and webcams allows a user to send messages and transfer files. Employs a contact list that shows if your friends are online and available to chat. Voice and video collaboration requires each user to have speakers, microphone, web cameras. Application sharing allows you to surf the web or edit a document over the internet while walking with a friend. Voice recognition systems. Before that, let's look at audio and input devices. Audio input can take many forms, including the human voice music. Converting speech into digital code, most common devices is the microphone. Gaining in popularity are the portable digital video recorders used with voice recognition systems. A voice recognition system uses a mic bundled with sound card and software. Some voice recognition systems must be trained for user's voice. Some can translate from one language to another. What is output? Output converts machine-readable information into people-readable form. Most common output types include text, graphics, photo, audio, and video. Monitors are commonly used to display screens, and the output is referred to as soft copy. The most widely used output devices are monitors, printers, and audio output devices. Monitors. Standards indicate screen quality or resolution. Some monitors are used on the desktop, others are portable. Monitors are also known as screens or display screens. Features include, the most important is clarity. Resolution. One of the most important features, images are formed on a monitor by a series of dots or pixels. We also call them as picture elements. Dot pitch. The distance between each pixel. Most newer monitors have a dot pitch of 0.31 millimeters or less. Refresh rate indicates how often a display image is updated or redrawn on the monitor. Most monitors operate at a rate of 75 Hz, which means the monitor is redrawn 75 times each second. Flickering indicates that the monitor rates are lower than 75 Hz. Size or viewable size is measured by the diagonal length of a monitor's viewing area. Common sizes are 15, 17, 19, and 21 inches, and these days even way more larger than a standard 21-inch. Cathode ray tubes or CRT monitors. Similar to the television technology, they are bulky in size. Flatbed or flat panel monitors. They may also be called as LCD or liquid crystal display monitors. They have passive matrix monitor or dual scan monitors. That is, images are created by scanning the entire screen. Active matrix monitor or thin film transistor monitors. Each pixel is individually activated. Other monitors include e-book readers. E-book readers, or also sometimes called as e-book, are handheld book-sized, cost less than publishing and delivering of printed matter. Data projectors, similar to slide projectors, extension of monitor. HDTV, merger of microcomputer and television, called PCTV. Output is digital, so can freeze video sequences to create high-quality still images. Printers. Printers translate information that has been processed by the system unit and present the information on paper. Output is generally called hard copy when printed by a printer. Features include resolution. Resolution measures the clarity of images produced. Resolution is measured in terms of dots per inch, that is DPI. Most printers use an average of 1200 DPI. The higher the DPI, the better the quality of the image produced. Other features include color capability. More expensive to print in color usually have the option to print in either color or black and white. Speed, measured in terms of number of pages printed per minute. For example, 15 to 19 pages per minute is the average for a single color page. 13 to 15 per minute for a colored page. Memory, used to store printing instructions and documents waiting to be printed. Duplex printing, that means printing on both sides of the screen, page rather, both sides of the page. There are three major types of printers: inkjet, laser, and thermal. Most people are familiar with these. Inkjet printers spray ink at high speed onto the surface of paper. Laser printers uses a laser light beam to produce images. Laser printers are more expensive than inkjet printers. Thermal printers uses heat elements to produce images on sensitive paper, used to produce high quality artwork. Other types of printers include dot matrix, plotters, photo printers, and portable printers. Dot matrix printers are slow and not used much anymore. It produces poor quality but faster than some of the newer printers. However, they are very noisy and very inexpensive. Plotters, these are special purpose for maps, images, architectural and engineering drawings. Photo printers, designed to print photographs from digital cameras. Portable printers, usually small, lightweight, and designed to work with a notepad computers. Maybe inkjet or laser printer that prints in either black and white or color. Audio output devices. These produces sound for people, connected to a sound card in the system unit. Voice output is quite common. Creating voice output is not as difficult as recognizing and interpreting voice input. Digital music players, also called digital media players, are specialized devices for storing, transferring, and playing audio files. Older players play MP3 files only. Newer players recognize other formats and also videos. Combination of input and output devices. Combination devices include fax machine, also known as facsimile transmission machine, multifunctional devices, internet telephones, and terminals. Multifunctional devices, or MFD, can combine the capabilities of a scanner, printer, fax, and copy machine. Internet phone or telephone, specialized input and output devices for receiving and sending voice communication. Telephony, the transmission of telephone calls over computer networks, known as voice over IP or VoIP, uses the internet rather than traditional telephone system. Internet telephone approaches, computer to computer, plays free phone calls when using a computer to send and also to receive via the internet. Software is available for free and very low costs. Computer to traditional telephone. Place the call from a computer to a phone using a internet phone service provider that supplies the software for a small monthly fee or airtime fee. Traditional telephone to traditional telephone. Subscription to an internet service provider that supplies a special hardware adapter to connect a traditional phone to the internet with a fee connected to service. Careers in IT. Some possible careers include technical writers. They prepare instruction manuals, technical reports, and other scientific or technical documents. Typically requires a college degree in communication, journalism, English, specialization or familiarization with the technical computer field. Technical writers can expect to earn cost about $46,000 to $76,000 annually in the United States of America. A look at the future. Electronic translators may be in your future. Electronic interpretation may soon exist to provide personal interpretation for foreign languages and images. Prototype portable handheld electronic interpreters are currently in a testing phase at the US Office of Naval Search. Refer to the questions in the slides and come prepared in your class for answering them. Question number 1, define input devices. Question number 2. Describe the different types of keyboard, pointing, scanning, image capturing, and audio input devices. Question number 3. Describe the 3 categories of output devices. Question number 4. Define output devices. And the last question for part 1 of lecture 5 is, what are the combination input and output devices? Give examples of such devices. Welcome to the second part of lecture 5. In this part, we should have a good look at the system unit. The learning objectives of this lecture include: describe the 6 basic types of system units, discuss how a computer can represent numbers and encode characters electronically, describe each of the major system unit components, discuss microprocessors, including microprocessor chip and specialty processors, discuss memory, including RAM, ROM, and flash memory. Moreover, we should also look at and discuss expansion slots and cards. We'll describe 5 principal types of expansion buses, compare standard, specialized, and legacy port, and finally, we'll discuss the power supply for desktop and notebook computers. Introduction. When well knowledge about computers, it is often easier to buy computers knowing which computer with its specification can be used for what purpose. When talking about specification, we generally talk about speed, capacity, and flexibility, which determines the power of microcomputers. Knowledge of a computer's power allows you to make good buying decisions and to determine if your current system will run new applications. Competent end users need to understand the basic principles of how microcomputers are put together. System unit types. There are 6 basic types of system units. Let's look at those. First of all, desktop system units. Electronic components and selected secondary storage. They are in horizontal, vertical, and tower models. Media center system units can use powerful desktop systems hardware with specialized graphic cards. Notebook system units, components, secondary devices, and input devices, often called as laptops. We also have netbook system units, like notebooks, but less powerful and less expensive. Tablet PC system units support the use of a stylus or pen to input commands and data. Convertible tablet PC and slate tablet PC are the 2 types of tablet PCs. Handheld computer systems, personal digital assistants is a very first example. Electronic components, they have secondary storage, input and output devices. Palm computers is another example of handheld computers, contain an entire computer system within the grab of your palms. System unit is also referred to as a system cabinet. System unit. A system unit often contains system chassis, system board, that is a motherboard, microprocessor, memory, socket, bus lines, and expansion slots. Also known as system cabinet is a container that houses most of the electronic components that make up a computer system. Electronic data and instructions. Data and instructions are represented electronically. Our voices recognize analog, that is continuous signals. Computers only recognize digital, that means electrical or on and off state. The binary system consists of 2 digits, zeros and ones. Each 0 or 1 is called a bit, short for binary digit. Bits are combined into groups of 8 bits called bytes. Smallest character is equals to bit, 8 bits is equals to 1 byte or 1 character. Character coding schemes. Knowing this information helps understand what takes place when data entered into your computer, why it takes so long for data to get transformed. There are three types of binary coding schemes. We have ASCII, American Standard Code for information interchange, primarily used for desktops. We have EBCDIC, which is Extended Binary Coded Decimal Interchange Code, primarily used for mainframes and supercomputer. We have Unicode, handles languages with large numbers of characters. System board connects all components. It allows communication between devices. System board connects all system components and allows input and output devices to communicate with system unit. Other names include main board or motherboard. Located in the system unit consists of a large flat circuit board with sockets and chips. Chips contain numerous circuits attached on a small wafer of layers of silicon and other materials. Chips are mounted on carrier packages. Chips are also referred to as silicon chip, semiconductor, or integrated circuit. Microprocessor chips. Located on the microprocessor chip has two main components, the control unit and the arithmetic logical unit. CPU measurement is the measurement of units of processing and speed. Now the two components, let's go and have a look at them, control unit and ALU. Control unit basically program instructions, directs flow between memory and arithmetic logical unit, directs flow between CPU and input and output devices. Arithmetic logical unit, or ALU, there are two types of operations, arithmetic operations and logical operations. Microprocessor chips continued. Chip capacities are expressed in word sizes. A word is the number of bits that can be accessed at one time by the CPU. Older computers process data and instructions in millionths of seconds, that is microseconds. Newer computers in terms of nanoseconds and picoseconds, that is supercomputer. 64-bit processors have become standard for most of today's desktop and laptops. Multi-core chip can provide two separate and independent CPUs or allows multiple or parallel processing. Specialty processors. These are designed to handle special functions. Core processors designed to improve specific computing operations. And we have graphic core processors. Now graphics core processors basically displaying and manipulating 2D and 3D graphic images. We have smart cards and readers. Plastic cards that have an embedded chip can store 80 times the information stored on the magnetic strip of a regular credit card. And then we have RFIDs used by luxury car manufacturers for fuel efficiency, tracking, and satellite entertainment. Memory. Memory is the holding area of data, instructions, and information. Memory is contained on chips connected to the system board. There are three basic types of memories. We have RAM, ROM, and flash. RAM, or random access memory, is frequently accessed, acts as high-speed temporary holding area, allows faster processing of results, and temporarily holds data and programs being used by the CPU. A RAM is volatile, that is, when the power shuts off, contents of RAM are emptied. It practices exception. Flash RAM can retain data when power is disrupted, used in high-end portable computers. ROM, on the other hand, is non-volatile. That means the CPU retrieves programs written on the ROM chip. Typical user does not go in and change information on RAM, on ROM rather. A ROM may also be called as a firmware. And then we have flash memory offers a combination of features of RAM and ROM. Like RAM, it can be updated to store information. Like ROM, it does not lose that information when power to the computers is turned off. Cache memory improves processing by acting as a temporary high-speed holding area between the memory and the CPU. Flash memory can retain data even if the power is disrupted. It's most expensive type of RAM used for digital telephones especially, digital video cameras, and portable computers. Now, virtual memory, large programs are divided into parts, and parts are stored on a secondary device, usually a hard disk. Each part is then read into RAM only when needed. RAM is also referred to as a temporary or a volatile storage. It is a good idea to save your work in progress to a secondary device, which is permanent or non-volatile. Other types of RAM include DRAM, SDRAM, DDR, and DirectR DRAM. ROM, also called as firmware, and is a permanent memory in a computer system. ROM chips are not volatile and cannot be changed by the user. CPU can read or retrieve data and programs, but the computer cannot write. Contains special instructions, example, need to start a computer, give keyboard keys its special capabilities, and put characters on the screen. Flash memory, also called as also a type of a memory and very important to a computer system. Our flash memory offers a combination of the features of RAM and ROM. Flash memory is used for a wide range of applications. If changes are made to the computer system, these changes are reflected in the flash memory. Expansion slot and cards allows for new devices to be added. Expansion slots provide an open architecture. Expansion cards provide network connections, PC-TV combinations, and more. This open architecture allows users to expand and update their systems. Devices to meet their needs, expansion cards are inserted into the expansion slots. Expansion cards are also called as plug-in boards, controller cards, adapter cards, interface cards. Commonly used expansion cards. Graphic cards connect the system board to the monitor, convert internal electronic signal to video signals. Sound cards convert electronic signals to audio signals and accept audio input from microphones. Network interface cards, or NICs, connect system unit into a cable attached to a network. PC cards, credit card size expansion cards for portable computers, also known as PCMCIA, that is Personal Computer Memory Card International Association cards. We also have TV tuner cards, converts video signals for viewing on computer monitor. TV tuner cards and video clips. It allows you to view your favorite TV shows while running other applications such as Excel. Video can be captured to a file, added to a web page, attached to an email, or added to a class presentation. It is inexpensive and easy to install. Factors that could limit the performance of a TV tuner card and video clips are the speed of the processor, the amount of memory, and secondary storage capacities. Plug and play. Set up specific hardware and software standards developed by Intel, Microsoft, and others, creating devices that are able to configure themselves when installed. Not all computer components and expansion cards have plug-and-play capabilities. A very good example of a plug-in device is an example of a computer mouse, whereby once plugged in into its USB port, the mouse is able to configure itself and get installed and install the software of the mouse. Bus lines. Bus lines provide data pathways that connect various system components. A bus line is also called as a bus. It is a pathway for bits representing data and instructions. Every computer has two basic categories of buses. System connects the CPU to memory on the system board. Expansion connects the CPU to slots on the system board. Expansion buses. Remember, architecture determines whether or not new devices can be easily added. Expansion buses connects the CPU to other components on the system board, including expansion slots. Peripheral types. Peripheral component interconnect, or PCI, originally for video demands of graphical user interface, widely used to connect CPU, memory, and expansion boards either 32 or 64-bit, more than 20 times faster than a ISA. USB, gradually replacing serial and parallel ports, faster than AGB bus. The newest version is USB 3.0. Firewire buses, high-performance serial bus, operate much like the USB buses and performed at speeds comparable to USB 2.0, used for digital camcorders, used for video editing software. SATA, that is Serial Advanced Technology and Attachment, is the newest kind of bus. It is much faster than USB 2.0 and Firewire buses, and is now widely used to connect high-speed storage devices to the system board. PCIe or PCI Express, widely used in many of today's most powerful computers, provides a single dedicated path for each connected device, now replacing the PCI bus. Ports are sockets for connecting external devices. Ports can connect directly to the system board, or they can connect to cards that are inserted into a slot on the system board. Ports are connecting sockets on the outside of the system unit. Ports are often standard features of computer systems, and others are more specialized. The three types include standard ports, legacy ports, and specialized ports. 4 common ports: VGA, USB port, Firewire ports, and Ethernet ports. So USB port, or universal serial bus, is one of the common types of ports available in computers these days. Gradually replacing serial and parallel ports, can connect multiple devices faster than parallel. Firewire ports, also known as high-performance serial bus ports, and are used for high-speed printers and video cameras as fast as USB 2.0. Legacy ports, we have serial ports, parallel ports, keyboard and mouse ports, infrared data association, IRDA, and game ports. Now, serial ports, data transmitted 1 bit at a time, mouse, keyboard, modems, etc. Parallel ports for external devices needing lots of data over short distances, like printer, scanner, external zip drives. Keyboards and mouse ports, generally dedicated for keyboards and mouse. IRDA, used to provide wireless mechanism for transferring data between devices. For example, transferring data from a handheld to a desktop. Game ports is used to allocate devices used in playing games. Specialized ports. You have MIDI, musical instrument digital interface. We have SPDIF and HDIM. Now, MIDI devices are a special type of serial port for connecting musical instruments. SPDIF, also known as optical audio connections, these ports are used to integrate computers into high-end audio and home theater systems. HDMI provide high definition video and audio. Cables used to connect external devices to the system unit via the ports. One end of the cable is attached to the device and the other end has to be attached to a matching connector on the port of a computer system. Power supply. Computers require DC kind of power, direct current. DC power provided by converting alternating current from wall outlets or batteries. Desktop computers use power supply units. Notebooks and handhelds use AC adapters. Cables are used to connect exterior devices to the system unit via the ports. Direct current or DC powers computers. Desktop computers have a power supply unit within the system unit. Notebooks, computers use AC adapters that are located outside the system unit. Careers in IT. Let's explore what a computer technician does. A computer technician repairs and installs computer components and systems. Employers look for computer technicians with certifications and communication skills. And continued education is required due to ever-changing needs and demands in the IT industry. Most technicians can earn up to an hourly wage of $13 to $22.50 per hour here in Fiji and also abroad. A look to the future. Wearable computers already exist for the military. In the future, we will see surgeons using it, and even normal users tend to using the wearable computers. A very good example is smartwatches. With the wearable computers, users will be able to send and receive emails while jogging or maintain their personal schedule and remember the names of the people at a party probably by looking at the party lists. You are to answer these questions and come prepared for the class. Describe the 6 basic types of system units. Describe the 2 basic components of the CPU. What are the differences and similarities between the 3 types of memory? Question number 4, identify 5 expansion cards and describe the function of each. And finally, identify and describe 4 standard ports, 3 specialized ports, and 5 legacy ports. So that wraps up our lecture 5. Thank you for listening, everyone.